What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Bloom podcast. This is kind of an interesting podcast here. It's a little bit different because we're going to be recapping a recent spec shoot we did up in the North Shore. Ton of hours, ton of money, ton of time went into this shoot here. So we have everyone that helped out on set minus the models, Cassidy and Britt, who were amazing, and we'll get into them a little bit later. But yeah, we got everyone here. We got Blake, who helped with some BTS stuff. He's been a long-term friend of mine, probably one of my more creative friends. We got Caitlin. You guys all know Caitlin. And we got Devin, who you guys all know too. So basically it's just the full family plus Blake.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Super excited.
We just adopted him for today.
We kind of did. Blake basically works here.
I basically do, yeah. And I'm happy to. I love it here. And I saw the mural for the first time, which is super sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was today, and studio's dialed, and it's just sick here, so.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the Jetboil shoot. Should we start from the top?
Yeah.
Devin, how did this...
How did me? It was you, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. No, because I think you and I were like brainstorming specs when we came up with the Jetboil. Did we not?
Oh, yeah.
Or did I just like...
Well, I think what happened was we were wanting to do a spec shoot because things were getting a little bit slow, which is good because I think it's really good to do a shoot like that to kind of break up some of the client work that we do and just really explore our creativity with something of our own and something that we can like all come together and make something and just have fun. And then from that, we're like, all right, let's do something. And then we were looking, I think we really wanted to do something more outdoorsy because it was like really like nice out. It's getting into that fall weather, and we want to do something like lifestyle, maybe more the kind of nature vibe. So we were just kind of brainstorming, looking at like different products that we wanted to do because we wanted to like focus on a product, but also like lifestyle. And then looking at just some of the products, and at first we were looking at like what was it, like thermals or something, or water bottles?
Yeah, we looked at like water bottles. We had some concepts around water bottles. We knew we wanted to do outdoor space. So we're like on rei.com, like scrolling through all the stuff they have, because I don't know, if you're like a creative listening, you've never done a spec shoot, like one of the biggest things is like make something that you want to make. Also for us, like we've made a ton of videos here, so we want to make something that is outside of what we've made before. We've never really branched into the outdoor space. We've dabbled in a few like small projects, but never done anything like full blown, full scale. And I think like that really helps us round off our portfolio. And if there's anyone that reaches out for that or in that space, we can have an example video that's super applicable to their specific brand. So
yeah. So what caught your eye with like the Jetboil? Like as far as those, we were looking at other like burners and stuff, or kind of like that, and then what like draws you into like doing that specific one?
Yeah, I think so. Like there was this like Eureka, which is also like Jetboil's sister company. There was like a burner, and it was like flat, and it was like there wasn't really anything special about it. I mean, it's a burner and it was cheaper, which was great, but like the Jetboil is that only burner that like folds up and can like collapse into like a tiny little bag. So we were like, that just seems like something that's more unique, something that's more marketable than just like a standard stove. So paid the extra money for that, and went all in with that, right? I think that's kind of how it worked. And we just did a Zoom call and like just bounced ideas off each other for I think like an hour and a half. Yeah,
we were going at it pretty like tough. Like we did at least like getting the storyline down and how we wanted to like really shoot this. And then like pretty much after we had like the base idea that we wanted to do like a couple like going out, having like a kind of trip that was like out in the woods and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like dialed into like more of the storyboard as well and getting creative with like the shot list. And I know we had some like reference videos and stuff, but I think the way that we came up with the storyboard, we made it our own.
Yeah.
Like trying to incorporate some of our own creativity, which I think is really cool because, we're not just like copy and pasting. We're like actually thinking about ideas, and that was really fun for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think like behind the scenes too, like I don't think you or Caitlin, or definitely not Blake, were involved in this, but like I was like, okay, we have this product, but then like that's when like the real work starts. Like you find a product cool, that's like easy. And it's like, now we need models, we need to find a cool location, and we need a spot to stay. And I cannot like believe, I reached out to a friend of mine who lives in the North Shore and I was like, send us some models. She sent me like some people and came across this guy, Cassidy. His name's Cassidy. And I call him and he's like, yeah, like we're up in the North Shore, blah, blah, blah. I've lived here my whole life. I'm like, this dude knows every location we'd ever need for the shoot. Explain to him what we're trying to do. He's like, oh, I got so many locations for that. And then I was like, we also need a place to stay. Like, do you have any recommendations? He's like, someone at the restaurant that I own, one of the cooks owns these Airbnbs. You can stay there. So like, it was insane. That made it so easy. I just want to like state that made it so easy because like the model filled in so many gaps for us that we didn't have to do, which is huge. And I think like, you kind of have to get lucky a little bit in a spec shoot with stuff like that. Like it's not.
Yeah.
And they had the car.
Yes.
Oh my God,
which was insane.
They had was it like a 68 Jeep Grand Wagoneer?
Yeah.
And they also had like a 52 Range Rover that was like a car that we could have used too. So it was like, I cannot, like we got so lucky with that stuff and it helped keep the cost down a lot.
And they already had like the outfits, like so many options for that.
Yeah, they really, and I think like that speaks to the North Shore a little bit. Like the people up there are so small town, they're so like tight knit that they do a lot of things out of the goodness of their own heart. Like life's just a little bit slower up there and they're willing to take a day off and like come and help us with the shoot and like drive around all day with us. And like, they obviously were excited about it too, but like, it's just crazy how like much everyone was a part of it. And even like the Airbnb, Stevie, she was like so nice. She like responded and was like with the nicest email I think I've ever received when we sent her all the footage and photos and stuff.
And those were legit. I mean, those were sweet places.
Yeah.
Two little houses right next to each other. I slept better than I think I've slept in my own bed. So comfy.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh.
But let's now that we have that kind of like teed up, Devin, let's backtrack into pre-production because I really think, I mean, you took the reins on the pre-production.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I did.
I'm trying to think of like what I did for pre-pro. It seems like one day I just got like a notion or.
We had the idea down. I think one of my main tasks was to do like the storyboard, just so we are more prepared. I think I was talking to Caitlin about this. Like it went so smoothly because of how prepared we were. And I think especially during on the shoot, we followed the storyboard pretty much, and we kept the day moving. Obviously we had some extra shots, but I think we got everything that we wanted to. For the storyboard, I just pretty much had the idea and then wanted to like take it chronologically. And I mean, we had the idea already. It's more like, all right, how can we get creative with the shots and like kind of progress through the story, and just having those like specific scenes and shots that we need or specific details we need, and like even like noting like, oh, get the audio during the shot is like, oh, we need to make sure we have the audio set up with the boom mic and everything. So
because all we had was couple wakes up at this cabin, jumps in this car, drives, to an area, goes on a hike, and then cooks an amazing dinner. That was basically like all we really started with. And then through...
I think through that, we're thinking of like, all right, how can we, instead of make it from point A to point B, but how do we do like A to B to C to D to like the
multiple
different
steps.
To make it look like they're actually like moving through a hike. And then we just came up with ideas like, oh, like there's a waterfall where you get them progressing like through the trees and like stopping at the waterfall for tea, or like just kind of progressing more. And we're just thinking of more shots to kind of break it or make it interesting and engaging. So
yeah, and then that meeting, I remember I was like reluctant because you're like, oh, we need to like add another sequence because like we're not just gonna like show the burner like at the end, like we need more Jetboil products infused throughout. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna cost more money. But the week of, I went to REI and bought like the tea, and we came up with we added another sequence in there because we just thought it wasn't enough. Like you're just gonna watch these people hike all day and then cook a meal at the end. Like it seemed a little boring. So we like the multiple steps of like stopping, making tea, continuing through the journey. So
yeah, and speaking about the products, they worked great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't think anyone even used them before, and we set them all up and they worked like right away, and it was super easy.
yeah.
So
and
that
we were
was
in the middle of nowhere, so
yeah.
We had no resources.
Yeah.
But where did we build the storyboard?
Right here. What do you mean?
No, like what platform?
Oh yeah, we use
Give them a shout out.
We use Millinote. Millinote's really dope because you can it's instead of like just working and doing like a storyboard on like you can make one in like Illustrator or something, it really just gives you a good template to start, and you can kind of they just give you a bunch of already like a storyboard shot list template, and you can just plug and play, like type in, drag it in a photo and for a reference. And I use Shot Deck for a lot of the reference photos, and it wasn't like to the T like what it specifically was because it wasn't Jetboil specific, but it gave you a generalization of like the color, the feel of like how this video is going to turn out.
Yeah.
And I think that was really helpful to like see it on that board of how things are going to look. But yeah.
Definitely looking at it from like a macro perspective. I remember like we were on the way up.
Yeah.
and Blake looked at it, he's like, oh my gosh, look
Yeah.
at this thing. Like, what was your initial impression when you saw the storyboard?
That's what I was just gonna say. Like when you showed me that, I mean, the first thing was there's like 28 like different shots we needed to get, like
I think it
different.
was 36.
36, yeah, 36,
a lot.
and like they weren't just small little shots either. It was like literally hiking through the woods, get this, next scene, getting cars driving off, like getting people packing up. And I don't know, I haven't, I've been on a few different shoots with you guys, but they weren't as big, and they weren't like, we traveled almost 5 hours just to get there, had to get everything set up, had to get everything organized, and we also were like shooting the product, getting the models, like doing all the basic stuff. And then I was vlogging, like we had audio, we were in the nature, we were in the nature, you know, we were out in like the middle of nowhere, no service or anything. And we're carrying around like cords and microphones and like doing everything. So
Our hands were full all day.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't have done it with one less person.
Yeah. And the storyboard, when I just pulled it up, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so organized. It was so clean too. It wasn't just like a Word doc with like shot one, shot two. It's like photos, examples, descriptions, like, and then it was like arrow point to the next shot, arrow point to the next shot. And that we used that the whole day.
It's like the Bible on set day.
Yeah.
It's literally like when in doubt, just reference back to that and figure out where we're at.
Yeah.
It was really powerful.
Yeah. That helped a ton. And that helped everyone kind of stay organized and
Yeah.
figure out like what we needed to do. And,
There's something to be
just thought it
said,
was
like when we all huddle around the iPad and we zoom in and we're like, here's the shot. And then Caitlin's like, I'm going to go get the audio. Blake's like, cool. I'm going to like go get this, that, and the other. And then like Devin's like getting the camera set up for it. And then I'm like, then I go and show the models. Then they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just great.
I think what was kind of, I think we did, it was planned, but honestly it was a little bit still unplanned because during the storyboard, we were trying to figure out the locations and stuff. And we had like 6 to 9 locations that could have been possible of where we're going to end up. And I think we had our own reference, but we're like, since the models know more of the area, so like I think we just more focus on those areas because they know exactly the places that we're looking for because we sent them the storyboard and everything. So we like went there, and then I think beforehand we were like, all right, this is for the call sheet. We like, all right, it makes sense to like drive through, go up north and then come back down, like just making sure like, oh, we'll do these scenes like on the way and then come back.
Yeah.
So like we kind of were planning to, with the storyboard, that like itinerary of like, oh, like this time we're gonna shut the cabins, and then we're gonna go up to the beach, and then we're gonna go up to what was it, Judge Magny, and then work our way back down.
But there were a lot of unknowns. It was like, I feel like the 5-hour drive like ate a lot of time that I thought maybe we would have. I was just like more optimistic with how much time we had, but like we roll in, it's pretty much dark. We're all starving. We basically unpack and go to dinner. And then like
we got shots first.
Well,
we
yeah,
had to try and get there right before dark,
but we ended up reshooting all of that. So we did some shots for the Airbnb just as like a trade deal for the night stay, which was great. It worked out great. But basically I just remember like after dinner calling the models and being like, hey guys, it's like 8:00. We haven't even met you guys yet. Like, I don't even know what their vibe is. Like they could have been like just difficult people to work with, or who knows. So there's like a lot of unknowns. That was an unknown. And then we like didn't know a lot about locations, and it's just kind of like, we knew locations, we had them listed, but like we didn't know if they were going to work or not. We kind of just like put our faith in their hands too a little bit there on a few things. And I think that's kind of how spec shoots go sometimes. Like maybe you don't have all the details, or maybe you are crunched on time because you're trying to do it in a time frame.
I think we had like, all right, the cabin for sure. That's where we're starting. And, you know, the vehicle, getting those shots. And then also like the beach and the waterfall. And like, obviously they always have trails in between them. So like we could shoot some more stuff. And then like the ending was just like either, you know, on a table at like a kind of picnic or like on a platform rock. So like we were just kind of at the end, we were like kind of open because there was a few locations where we could have done that at. And like, luckily, you know, like we found like a good area. So
yeah, I think we knew locations, but we didn't know like specific, like
where
this staircase we're gonna have them run up or something like that. Like we didn't have we didn't hike it beforehand, but it ended up working out great.
I think it's cool though because during that we had like four or 6 minds coming together for specific shots. That helped spontaneously like think of cool things to like to shoot and stuff. So like that was helpful.
Super collaborative. Yeah. And I mean, should we get to shoot day? Like, are we there right now?
Yeah, I think,
here?
I mean, we could start, you know, maybe like before we even like went up there.
Yeah.
Maybe like gathering like all the materials or
Yeah.
just like, I know that Caitlin was kind of helping with the props and stuff, like getting everything
Caitlin,
that
you
we
did
needed.
a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
We were
let's
going to
hear-
rent a car. Caitlin had like 6 like car rental things.
Let's hear more
listed.
about the producing part of it too. I think everyone should know about that.
Yeah, what was I on? Grocery duty. Obviously, we were cooking, so we needed to get kind of a nicer meal. So about like some steaks, some veggies, potatoes. That sat in a car for probably too long.
Yeah. Well, and while Caitlin's getting these groceries, Devin and I are shooting with like a client of ours that we shoot with. So like you're getting the
big
groceries.
props.
Gear,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had some rental gear. Had to go back and forth a few times to get that before we left, which was fine. What else did I do?
Grocery for just food for the day.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
needed food for us too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for the shoot. We needed like sandwiches for us and snacks to eat throughout the day. I don't really
that was
know
clutch
what was
though,
up
by
there.
the way.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so close. Like,
I
We
don't
didn't
know.
have any other time other than those sandwiches we
Yeah.
ate.
It was scarfed them
and
down.
it was like the perfect amount of food too.
We had like the perfect amount of bread for
I know
all
we
of
had one
us.
left, one piece left.
Yeah, we were in like the pre-production meeting. I was like, get a 12-pack of waters, and these two both look at me. They're like 24.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like, yeah.
12.
You never
And-
know.
But there's like Caitlin, I will say there's so much like value to that because there's like a lot of like thinking and like calculating and just like brain power that goes into like putting that stuff together and knowing those details and being able to just like put that in your court and like have faith it was
Yeah.
gonna get like I never questioned for a minute that we were like not gonna have enough stuff or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Versus if I did it, I feel like I'd be like second guessing every decision. Were you second guessing decisions when you were like buying food and like
No,
going
I went to Cub and I was probably there for 20 minutes. I got the stuff, like I knew exactly what I needed. Got the chips, everything. I was prepared.
Yeah.
I still have some of those snacks in my car. I've been munching on the trail mix the last couple days. It
Yeah, we
saved
got
me
a
a little
huge
bit.
thing of trail mix. I don't think anyone ate it.
Yeah, we didn't touch it. I said I wouldn't touch it either.
What kind of gear did we rent?
We rented a car mount, a polarizer, a CPL for the car mount itself, so you could like see through the windshield, which
I think it didn't really work.
No,
out,
it didn't
but
work
it
at
was
all.
good to have. Just in
good to
case.
have. And then we rented 2 lenses from Clover. We rented a Hollylander, which is basically like a Teradek. Allows, for people that don't know what that is, allows me to have an iPad behind the scenes, and be watching the frames in live action from the camera. So it's great for checking focus. It's great for me to be an actual director and not be like over the DP's shoulder all day. Like I think it's like a good degree of separation
I think
between.
that was like super valuable with this shoot too, because we were like, especially during the waterfall, like Devin is like so
Yeah,
far
I was like
away,
40 yards away.
but we
Yeah.
were able to like stay back by the gear and like you had your iPad like way over there.
Yeah, so valuable. And just like, I don't know, that's like, I feel like the next purchase that Bloom needs is a Hollylander just on set here. Cause
Yeah, it'd be
it's-
nice to have.
I think especially like for bigger shoots, like we end up renting it from Clover all the time.
Yeah, shout
That
out
was
to him.
super cool. Me just being like, because I haven't been on, you've used that a bunch of different times. Like I've only seen that a couple times, but it was so much more helpful. Like when we were setting up the cameras, even like when we were trying to get the camera, that was another thing we rented, was the camera mount for the car. And we were trying to stick it onto the window. Like you had the iPad up there and you could just see such a big shot of what the camera was getting.
And we were able to drive and see the shot at the
Yeah,
same
drive
time.
Yeah.
and see the shot.
And
Yeah,
not
so we
being-
were like right in front of the car as it was shooting through their window.
Yeah. So that was
awesome.
definitely really good. Shout out to Cinequip and Clover.
And actually, Cinequip messaged me the other day. They're like, "Hey, we have your 72 to 82 step-up ring here. We must have left it on one of the cameras,
Oh,
so
shoot.
we got to go back and get that."
On the lens.
Yeah, but they had it for us, which is cool. So yeah, we rented that stuff, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
Oh, we rented
The
a light.
Yeah.
We rented
Oh,
a
yeah,
light, just a very aperture 60, very small light to just move around with.
Yeah.
But it
You never
didn't plug
know.
in.
Oh yeah, I didn't plug it. It had a
Battery powered.
battery powered and
So that was nice to have when
For
you're in the
sure.
woods.
yeah, because I mean lighting and stuff. You never know situations you might need it for, especially if like the sun, even though it's overcast, is like lighting like the front. You still want like be able to light the shadows and stuff and just fill in those different. Like during the last scene too, like there's only like one area where the light was coming in, and like all the trees are
Yeah, and it
blocking
was
one
kind
way.
of like later in the day too.
Yeah, so it was nice to have that. I think it was clutch to bring the light. I know you weren't thinking about bringing any lights.
Well, I was just like I was like originally just like, let's shoot something natural light. It's going to be fall. It's going to be great. But now that we like renting that, when I got the rental quote and I saw the price on it, and that's the other thing, like if you don't have lights, like rent them because they're so cheap. I think it was like $24 for the day on that.
For the
Obviously, if you have to
weekend.
rent it for like a week, it's a little bit
Well,
more
you rent it
expensive.
on Friday and you get it for the whole weekend, and you
Yeah.
only
Bring it
get
back
you can only
Monday,
get
yeah.
charged for a day.
Exactly.
So if you
Right.
ever rent and you're shooting on a weekend, around on like the weekend or the day before the
Yeah,
weekend.
like shoot on Friday, and that's exactly what we did. They only charged us for one day, and we picked it up Thursday and returned it on Monday. That's insane.
What I thought was super funny about all the equipment is like we were out on like trails and we were, on the beach, and like everywhere we went, like a couple of the trails were kind of packed, and like we're just hauling all this stuff through the woods, and like every person that passes just like
What are
just
you doing?
what's going on, everyone's like so curious. And then you were telling, you want to say what you were telling people?
Yeah, so like every time we pass them, I don't know. I always just like to throw people for loops. I actually learned this from like, was it Austin? I think Austin always did this, but like people be like, "What are you guys shooting?" And you just throw some random stuff out there. So I would just say the new season of Stranger Things.
And this girl was like, "Wait, what?"
She's like, "Oh my gosh, I love that show."
And it's like 6 of us. Like, does not look like we're like.
You don't even have the main
Netflix.
actors,
Yeah,
actresses.
we're shooting on an A7S3.
Dude, that one girl like fully believed.
Yeah.
She was like, we're going down the steps and we're just like, next episode of Stranger Things. She's like, oh my gosh, we watched that show. And like, she like pulled out her phone and she's like, look at this. I was like, oh my
Dude, and the
God.
beautiest part about that is it hurts no one. She forever
Yeah.
thinks that
Yeah.
she was BTS on Stranger Things, dude.
It's like, I think they would shut down the state park for that one.
For
Right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be manifesting some stuff.
But like also like we woke up in the morning, we woke up early, started shooting, and I think like we got a lot of photos at the initial thing, and like throughout the day we got busier and busier, and like photos started to just slowly be like less and less of a priority. And I think that's something that I learned from this spec shoot. Well, I was talking with Philip, who's another video production guy. He's down the hall here, and he said that they did a spec shoot, and he's like, we just tried to do too much. We tried to do like social reels, we tried to do photos, we tried to do like all these things and
Vlog.
stack all these things. And he said it was just really stressful. And at the end of the day, like everything turned out good. But he's like, if we would have just focused on like one thing primarily, and there was like a tier list of the deliverables, that it would have turned out better. So I think it's great. We have like 50 photos from the shoot, which is still a good amount, but really we were focused on the video towards the end of the day.
I think what we did a good job at was like, oh, we were at a certain location. This is a good photo opportunity, and obviously it wasn't like a photo focused shoot. So like we're like, oh, might as well grab some while we're here. Like it's placed nicely. Like you can definitely do some product photography, and it looks amazing. Honestly,
I think they look
Yeah.
so good.
pretty
so
diverse
clean.
as well, like different areas.
And it's like, what are we gonna send this brand 100 photos? Like,
Right.
it's like sometimes it's like you want to tease them. You don't want to like
Yeah.
give them everything. So yeah, but we started out the morning, and also like I said, we couldn't have done it with one less person. So like, Caitlin was doing audio a lot of the day and some lighting stuff. So like, to
Yeah,
add
she
photos
basically
onto
was
that?
audio engineer, AC, helping me with gear,
Photographer.
lighting, photography, BTS, like
Yeah.
you know, it's
A
like
lot.
everything. But
Doing
that's
a
the thing
ton.
though, we're all kind of
Catering girl.
everything.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades though, like literally for
Mhm.
sure. So that's
And then
nice.
Dev, you were on camera most of the day.
Yeah,
DP.
I think it was good to
DP
focus
Devin.
on that. Just so like I know we're getting the shots that we need, and I think that was like you said, like one less person we couldn't have done without.
Yeah.
We needed everybody there to make that vision come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I don't know, this shoot was also, I think, really good practice. Obviously, Devin and I have been working together for a long time. Devin's been DPing, I've been directing for a long time, but I think it takes a lot of reps to really understand. Like, I guess I was like directing, but I didn't really know what went into a good director. And now I'm starting to really like realize, like, okay, directing's not just like that guy who just like is on set, just like there's actually a skill set, and like there's a difference between a good and a bad director. And obviously I knew that, but I feel like stepping into directing, it's not so tangible, right? It's not like, oh, that's a good photo, that's a bad photo. It's like, you don't know what makes a good and bad director. Like, why did this Christopher Nolan film turn out way better than like this no-name director film? So trying to figure out how I can be as good as possible was like what I focused on here. And one thing that we like joked about all day was like, I do not touch the camera.
Yeah.
That was like a role. When you think you're helping as a director and you're like touching a camera, it's oftentimes just making everyone more
Yeah.
frantic.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone has a specific responsibility, I think it's good to focus on that. Like, obviously, like me and Caitlin are kind of helping each other a lot. I think just kind of going back and forth, and that was really helpful. And then with the lighting, Blake was super helpful, and just around with the gear and helping with all that. Yeah.
And then I feel like I'm like bouncing between DP, you, and then the models.
Yeah,
keeping
you're
everyone
more of
something.
the directing with like the models, and then communicating with me for the shots and like composition and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
really helpful.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like a runner. I was just like, what does anybody need? And I'm vlogging. That was kind of like my
Dude, you
My
captured
role.
it
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah, for
Caitlin's
sure.
dove into some of the footage. Caitlin, how does
Yeah.
the vlog footage look?
It's so good. We have so much footage, and the vlog's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's already looking really, really
Yeah,
good.
sounds good. Looks clean.
Yeah.
and
It's fun.
I saw like that first snippet and I was
Yeah.
just like,
You like aced it, brother.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I filmed it. I was like, geez,
I
this
know.
looks
Yeah.
like a professional.
Yeah.
does, it
It's a hard that's a hard thing to multitask too. Like I think there was a point in time where we thought like, oh, Caitlin can film like the vlog too. It would have never
No,
gotten
I
done
don't
to
think
the
so.
level. Like
Yeah.
No.
it's you need someone who's like core role is I think if you're like touching a camera and you're like working with a camera all day, like you have to have like a core responsibility.
And
to,
like you
capture.
did really good at like towards the end of the day, we're like getting exhausted and like just trying to finish up this shoot, and we'll get into like how the day kind of like flipped around when we got into a new location, but you like didn't stop vlogging, and like
Yeah.
we would have just forgot to vlog or
Yeah.
like
What I really liked about Blake was he just kept the energies really well.
yeah.
Really balanced everyone's energy.
Hi.
No, definitely for sure. Yeah, I could
Uh,
appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Dev.
the energy was definitely high the whole time. And I mean, like,
Well,
it
the
was
day
an
gets
early
long.
morning.
The day gets long
Yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
it was
It's a
long.
long
You're
day.
talking like
Yeah.
a
10
12-hour
hour,
shoot
yeah.
day and then a 5-hour drive home.
Yeah. And it was like jackets on, scarves on. in the
Everyone was kind of
morning,
cold too.
Jackets off.
Rainy
Like,
on and off,
yeah.
like not like a sunny happy day.
hiking. I mean, we were like hiking. That some of that, like, I remember like
The stairs.
those stairs and like some of the trails. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm sweating, and I was just
gear,
like,
like
yeah.
tripods.
I was like, I don't know if I'm
sides.
cut
Man,
out
we
for
have a
this.
shot of Blake just laying on a table.
You did take a few breaks.
I did have to take a couple little breaks. That was what was nice too. I feel like that was part of why I could kind of even like bring a little bit of energy in the end, because I was like on and off. Like I was like vlogging when I needed to, and then I was grabbing things when I needed to. But like you guys were all in like the thick of it, where I was like able to kind of draw
We
back.
were like skipping rocks at the beach.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like that's the beauty of it. Like
Yeah.
and that's what's hard for me. I feel like I'm an energy guy, but when I get super focused and I'm directing, I realize like I don't have energy because I'm just so locked in that I'm just like, and that's where I feel like that you definitely saved us with some energy,
Yeah.
which was huge. Kept the vibes high, stuff like that. And that's always good because like when energy gets low, I feel like the models, you really see it in the models too.
Yeah. And they were great the whole time.
They were great the whole time, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think like you want to make sure you just keep that energy high for them.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too. Is like, well, it was the first time meeting the models, but that just showed like how we worked as well together as a team, and like making sure that the models were as seamless for them as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and fortunately they're like really great at everything.
100%.
So it's
Yeah.
like really it went well. I think
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
Well, let's break down like the start of the day. So we're here, we're at this cabin, we wake up, the models meet us there.
Mm-hmm.
They come there, they put out all their wardrobe. They have like so much clothes. Like you if you watch the vlog, you'll see like just so much clothes. And we put them in outfits, and then we started basically shooting. Let me know if I'm missing anything, guys. But we went up on the deck, shot like the opening sequence, and then we basically just kind of used that as like an establishing place. So only a few quick shots, really quick sequence, and then they were driving out. And we had the anamorphic lens on, which, it looks so good, dude. The way the headlights just beamed across the whole screen. That was like one of my favorite shots of the day.
Yeah.
And I think too, like we were shooting there, and then literally like during that time, we were like asking like, do you guys know a good spot we could film this next shot? And
Right.
like, they immediately knew the name of a road. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it has to be this one.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy though. It's
And
like
everything-
specific to the point. I just
yes.
know exactly what you're looking
Yes.
for.
And like
We would've
everything
wasted
could not be
so
more
much.
perfect. Like I think everything was like 5 to 10 minutes away.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was so close.
Yeah.
We would have wasted so much time driving around and thinking that this was a good location or this
Yeah.
was a bad location. And like, even if we were in a good location, we might think there was a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? Probably for the spec sheet, like it might look like they hiked like far.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have guessed it was like all like pretty
Really
like
close.
close together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna look like they hiked far.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they had the Jetboil in their hands all day, so it theoretically looks like one hike, which was definitely interesting. And then, after we pull out of the cabins, we got some drone shots of them driving down this beautiful thing. And I think all of us, like, I played the drone shot back, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that river looked like that." Or
Yeah.
maybe I was showing Blake or
Oh,
something.
from the top view.
Yeah, like it's this huge, beautiful like creek,
Windy river. Yeah.
and it's just like 62 or whatever year it was, like old car driving with a canoe on the top.
Oh my
It
god, the
was so
canoe
sick.
on top.
And then we
Yeah.
put the car mount on, and that
Well,
was like
it
the
started
first hiccup.
raining, and we are like, "Oh dang, it's raining. I don't know if we could do this car mount thing first."
So we're like
Yeah.
wiping.
So we were kind of like
yeah.
waiting, like, well, we might as well just try to get it here. And I think we left it on, but they knew a better spot to film it at.
Yeah.
And we were running through a little bit of a problem because the overcast was creating a glare on the windshield, and the CPO wasn't really letting it wasn't like see-through, so you couldn't really
Right.
see them because it was just like blocking
and
their
since
face.
the canoe was on the car, that was
Yeah.
creating like the biggest shadow. That was just this
Yeah.
triangle in the middle of the windshield.
And that's then we knew at that point we needed the whole thing shadowed. We
Yeah.
would need the whole thing kind of
Yeah.
covered so you could see their face. So then they knew exactly what spot where there was more overhanging trees, so we could like go shoot that specific shot.
But that was like the first hiccup of the day, right? And like,
Yeah.
there's never a shoot where there isn't a hiccup.
Yeah.
So it's just how you deal with
Yeah.
those hiccups to like.
It took us for like little bit of time to get it on the car too because we
The
didn't.
suction cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we could like wipe it down, but I think we needed more of the flat surface. But we
Yeah.
originally had it horizontal on the hood, and then we just switched it to vertical, and it made it more balanced.
And quick shout out, like Blake, like sees the problem. He's like, runs up with like a rag. He's like drying it off, and that wasn't really the problem. It wasn't wet, but like he was just like. That's what I love about Blake on set is he just like sees something and he just like acts on it without like being told, or sometimes like you don't even need to be told, but it's just like you need to see that needs to be dry, you know, and that's like your role, even if.
I love doing that too.
Yeah.
Like anytime I just see something that I can do or like hold something or anything, like I just love doing that.
Yeah. And that goes a long ways. Like it just helps everyone move more efficiently. But yeah, that was the first hiccup. I feel like we dealt with it pretty well. We had to pull an audible. We had the suction cup mounted on the front of the car. And even when we got to the shaded area, it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really look the best because we were driving in the trees. I mean, you're driving and the shadow is not consistent because the trees. So I mean, I think what we did with the audible was just put it on like the passenger side and shot through the passenger instead with the window down.
Yeah. I still think if Clover was there, he would have had some solution. He would have probably been like, we can put this tarp over it and like
if we had more
rig it up.
Yeah.
But then they would have drove blind, right?
That's what I was thinking. I was
Well,
like, okay, we have
what
to
I
cover
think
this.
they would have done is they probably would have maybe somehow extended like poles on the front and then like covered, just had
Like a
like
tent
a tent
kinda,
type of thing to go over the windshield and then like still shoot under the tent.
Yeah.
But
It
you
would
you can't
the
really
problem
tell.
would be because we'd have to punch the shot in a little more because you could see the sky in the background, so you would be able to see the tarp.
Well, that was our first
Yeah.
time shooting something like that, so I think it was a good learning experience.
Yeah,
It was a
and
great
I think we
learning
acted
experience.
super fast. I'm like, okay, no, we have to do the side window. Like,
Yep.
we still wanted the shot.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling a little like, I don't know if I was like let down, but I remember feeling like, oh gosh, this is like the most movie-esque
Well, this
shot.
was your favorite shot.
That was, I mean, it was like my favorite shot.
during pre-production.
Yeah, during
right?
pre-production, like I was most excited for that because I was like, this is like the most movie-esque thing. Like you don't just, everyone knows you can't just like pull that off. It's like, it's a harder thing to do. And we did pull it off and I think it
Yeah.
looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it was super awesome. I just remember vlogging it. I was just getting cool shots, you guys setting it up, and I was just like, I feel like I am recording Stranger Things. I was like, this is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And then we played with some lighting in the car. I mean, that took a while. That ate up a good chunk of time.
But
That
it was
was-
nice because we were filming that at our next location in the state park.
Exactly.
We were always like one step ahead.
Exactly. And we went to the beach and got like a couple shots, but nothing
Yeah.
really crazy happened there.
Yeah.
That was probably the most technical thing we did, like through the day. Like it was like a big device, if you call it a device, like suction cup, trying to get it in the right lighting, trying
And then
to get
you're
it on the
shooting
car.
with like just the actors, like all four of us were like not near them because they were driving themselves.
Yeah.
And no service. So I was like
Yeah.
trying to call the
Yeah.
models and the actors and tell them like, hey, this is direct the shot,
Right.
but no service. And they don't even have service. So I was like,
I know.
what do we do? So it's kind of
But
crazy.
they were like, yeah, like you said, you told them to jam out, and that's what they did. And they
Yeah.
had a lot of good smiles, a lot of good, like,
Yeah.
it was exactly what I would have thought.
Envisioned,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that looked great. And then
I guess just service wise, just put it in perspective, we were 45 minutes below the Canadian border, like in the woods. We were in Grand Marais. Which
yeah,
is
we haven't
like,
even set the scene.
I know.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
guess. So
we're in like the top right of Minnesota.
Yeah.
It was like 2 hours from Duluth, or was it?
Dude, it was like
from
30
Duluth.
minutes, I thought. 30 miles.
no, it's like 2 hours
2 hours
above
from
Duluth.
Duluth, but 30 minutes from
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we punched it in, I like looked at the map. I was like, wow, we are up here,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Right on Lake Superior too.
Yeah. Almost 5 hours from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So that's like in the woods, really small towns, like super pretty. Like Grand Marais, I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there. But like such a cute, like I kind of felt like I was in like Montana. I was like just a cute little kind of hilly trees everywhere, little shops right on
on the
Lake
water,
Superior.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
which was
crazy though? That's
crazy.
literally like 3 to 5 hours from the city. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to go too far.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really don't.
That's why we're going back this weekend.
Yeah. If you're listening right now, Blake and I are getting a camper van from our friend Grady at Voyager Camper Vans. And we're going to go up there and we're going to ride e-bikes from our friends at Electric Trails.
Yeah.
And it's like crazy. All this stuff is falling into place. And then
Yeah.
Cassidy, the model from the shoot last weekend, is letting us use the band camper because they own a bar and they got a band camper. So I just can't even believe like the hospitality, everyone is just so nice. And everyone that like does business up there or works up there, they're just like very just like giving
Yeah.
and just like generous people.
And all that literally got planned when we got done with the shoot. Like Devin headed out to the cities, and then it was us three, and we went to the coolest bar. I didn't go to any other bars in Grand Marais, but like this one was insane.
Without a doubt, the tavern in Grand
Yeah,
Marais.
yeah, and the model owned it. Like his family started it, and then they like basically upgraded it. We got done with the shoot. Everyone's tired. And then we just wanted to go to the bar quick to like hang out with the model.
He was like, come get some beers.
yeah.
And then we pull in. He's like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Hams." That's what they drink
got
over
our
there.
drinks.
And then
He
I
just
was
walks
like,
behind the bar.
yeah, I was like
Yeah.
expecting him to go and place the order. So I don't know. I just like blanked on it, and he just walks back there, taps us 3 beers, brings them out, hands them over. Like, no card, nothing, no like.
That's super chill.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
cool.
And when we were sitting there, literally, I was like, I think I mentioned like, dude, I wish I could come here next weekend. All of a sudden, Cassidy's like, we got a band camper for you. Then Britt is like, or you could stay in the tiny house. Then Emma's like, you guys should take the bikes out. And then like, I look at you look at me, and we're both just like, should we send it? And then Cassie's like, and there's gonna be a DJ at our bar next Saturday from the cities that I used to know. And we were just like, oh my gosh.
You immediately whip out the calendar.
The whole thing, yeah, it just fell together, and we just like,
The people are great. I mean, it was like so awesome.
yeah,
It was really nice.
yeah, really, really awesome. What I'm super excited to go back up this weekend too and build those relationships a little bit more. Cause I mean, I don't know. I would love to shoot more outdoor stuff. That's the whole purpose of this spec shoot, is to shoot more outdoor stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we'd have some more connections up there that could help in the future for different things.
Yeah.
The North Shore is very unique in the sense that there's a black sand beach, there's a bunch of cliffs. Like, you could really play that area. It could be Alaska, it could be Canada, it could be freaking
Montana.
I've never been to Montana. I've never even been to like Iceland or anything.
It
But
could be like Oregon.
Yeah, or it could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Anywhere
it's such
beautiful.
a nondescript location.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot too with just doing a spec shoot, because like
And Lake Superior looks like an
Looks like the
ocean.
ocean.
So it's like, all right, where are we at right now?
yeah, that's so true. So like, that's so true. Like, you could play it as whatever area they want to market to or they want to be in.
That's probably why those people believed us that we were shooting Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
we're out here.
That's true.
So we got done with the car shots with the
Yeah.
mount, and then
Now we're at the state park.
went to the state park.
Had a little lunch.
We ate lunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
which
right
was
before we got
Kind of eventful.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe.
they say Grand Marais, they got a little activity going on.
Oh, damn. Yeah. At lunch, we got the
history.
background.
we
got
got the
some history
tea.
of
We got the
Grand
tea
Marais.
for sure.
We got the background. Yeah. I think it was like someone killed someone with a moose antler or
Oh
something.
my gosh. yeah. That's not even a joke.
That's a
No,
real thing.
Yeah.
and everyone was happy about it because it was
Dang.
like,
You was-
this
yeah.
is too much, man.
Dude, that's crazy. Get caught slipping and then
Yeah.
get
And it's
with
such a small
moose
town,
antler.
too.
They caught
Like, everyone knows
predating, dude.
everyone.
Yeah. Basically, small town, and there was a really bad guy that got killed.
And
by
everyone
a
was-
crazy kid,
They
and everyone
said-
was
they
happy.
say-
relieved.
Everyone was kind of relieved that this guy got killed. Because I've never met anyone who likes a child predator.
Yeah. It was basically just it was just a weird, just kind of an interesting. Because just to preface, like, we're all eating lunch, and I was like, well, guys, like, you're from Grand Marais and you grew up here. Like, anything super weird happen? And they basically went on this story. There was this super bad guy. I guess he was like a child predator or a pedophile, and he got killed. It's like, we're kind of laughing. It's not funny at all. But like, there was this crazy kid in the high school that took care of business or something and like got super pissed off because of something super like family related.
That was like, family related.
Family
shit.
related.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like, you
And it
know,
was a gruesome way to take someone out.
yeah.
And,
So, you know, obviously nobody wants that to happen, but like, it was just like a weird small town like story. That's why we're laughing
Yeah.
at it, because it was like,
And
And we
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
expect
For
like
sure.
yeah,
how big that story. We were just like, oh wow.
yeah.
Well, and at this point of the day, I think we're truly like starting to settle in with
Bond
the
with the
models.
models.
Like,
Yeah.
we're starting to know details about just everything, right?
Yeah.
They're learning us better, we're learning them better, and we're starting, I think, to really feel like, wow, we're pretty similar to these people.
Yeah.
Right?
They were
Like,
they're
they're
great.
more like us than we originally had thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just you warm up to people throughout the day. So
So then we got done with lunch, and we basically,
Start hiking.
which is where the first product like truly came out, which
Yeah.
was when they made the tea.
The water boiler, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Oh,
name
yeah.
of, but
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's when I like actually the first product, because it wasn't the case majority of the time at the beginning, but that one's gonna be like pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then this is the first time like, all right, they hike through, and then now they're at the waterfall.
and they're like using it.
yeah, application wise.
Yeah, so they hike all the way through. We get some cool shots of them hiking, and then they get to this waterfall. And I love them for this too. I was like, yeah, we had this like idea. You guys don't actually have to do it, but like we want to do like put a GoPro in the cup. Which, I mean, the product here, it basically sits on
It's kind of like this size.
yeah, it's like this size, and then it would sit on like a propane little propane tank and heat it up, and it can boil water like really
Yeah,
really
it's
fast.
like the tiny burner of the Jetboil.
Yes, exactly. And we put the GoPro in it, and we filled it up with the water, and then they're like, yeah, the water's clean. We're gonna drink this straight up. And I was
Yeah.
like, I had envisioned us like filling it up and pretending like that would happen, because everything in videos is fake.
Also, too, what we did on like kind of the side. The first shot looked really good, and then I don't know if it was Britt. That was Britt was like, oh, we should get the waterfall in it, and then that last shot was like, oh, you can see the waterfall in the
And
background.
she shot that.
Yeah, and she did it herself. I was like, oh yeah, there you go. That's cool.
Yeah, she shot that herself. She took
It was
charge. She's like,
fun,
we need
like-
rocks. We need to get it higher up. I was like, dang.
They were
Yeah.
like, I feel like the more we went on with the day, like the more into it they got, and like wanted to be more like creatively involved.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and like they had good ideas, like
Yeah.
too. Like they weren't just like throwing stuff.
Literally
out there.
both of their ideas. Like, we'll get to the island.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
That was like,
Oh yeah. We'll get to the grand finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they fill this up, and then they actually drink the tea
Yeah,
with
they
the
make
water
tea.
from the thing, and they were
What's it? Well, so it was like basically a little propane attachment that, and then it was kind of like
a metal
thermos.
cup. Yeah, like a
It's
thermos
like a big thermos.
that you can boil water in. So
wait, do we have it here? We
no,
did?
I gave it to them.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, because they're like,
Oh,
this is such a
nice.
cool product. I'm like, you guys
Have
can
it.
keep that one. Thank you for
That's
helping out
awesome.
today.
Yeah.
And
it was so funny too because we shoot them like making the tea and everything. The thing boiled in like a second. I was
Yeah.
like, is
And
that
it was
even?
like boiled.
it was like
It
spitting
was
water out.
popping.
And Devin's over it getting
I was
Well,
like, I don't think we need
And then Caitlin's like, it's so crispy.
the audio. Was so
the
I
audio.
was like, let me hear this. I was like, okay.
But the
I see
funny
it.
thing was like,
But I was like, we got to dump some of this water out, guys, because I don't know if they're going to want
Their
their product,
product is
just
just
like
like-
boiling over, just blowing water everywhere.
yeah, and then they made the tea, and it's funny. It's like in between shots, like every time, like Cassie was like, "Here, hold my mug." And, like, I like kept taking sips. The tea was amazing.
Was
And so,
it?
like every time he handed it to me, I was like,
You handed it
Not
back a
going up.
little
I was like,
less.
"Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Like I honestly feel amazing.
That's super funny because I remember at the end, Cassidy was like, his tea was empty. He's like, okay, we're going to like move to the next location. Like, what should I do with this thing? Can I throw it in the backpack? And I was like, yeah. And then Britt's like, you're already done with your tea? So I was like,
Dude, I was
I didn't know
sipping
you were
away.
taking sips.
I was sipping away. I felt kind of bad. He told me to take a sip in the beginning, and so he's like, "Taste this." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh!" Like, and then like he kept handing
What
me. I'm like,
was it?
Well, one of the cool
don't
things
know.
too, like it's also awesome to have local models because it just like makes things interesting. So the waterfall we were at, we actually didn't hike up to like the higher part of the waterfall, but basically there's from what I can understand is this waterfall that was slightly up trail that goes down, and it like basically goes in between these rocks and like goes into this hole in the ground. And they have no idea where
like a
that water.
conspiracy.
Yeah, they have no idea where the
yeah.
water goes. So he's like, they've thrown everything. They've thrown ping pong balls down there, basketballs, like water bottles, everything, just to see like where it would shoot out. And like everyone in the community is like looking to figure out where this thing ends up. They put dye in there, like red dye, just to see like if
my
red
gosh.
water turns red. And they cannot figure it out. So I bet that literally waterfall goes into that hole, and it probably pops out somewhere in Lake Superior.
yeah,
Like
Well,
way out there.
Yikes.
Just
So
a bunch
Lake
of
Superior is just
basketballs
like
out there.
filled with trash.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they went there. I don't think they,
Basketballs.
but it was for research purposes. And
right,
then
right.
when they were telling us the story, like Blake's just like off to the side, like vlogging or whatever. I'm like, Blake, how long can you hold your breath?
Oh,
I was like,
that's. when
I was
that
like, you want to
happened,
jump in the hole, dude?
Oh,
See
I
where you
thought
come
that was
out?
so
You should
random.
tell us
Yeah.
Our air tags waterproof.
That's what they said. They said they put trackers down there, everything, like an air tag and like a watertight container, and they can't figure it out.
Goes to the center of the earth.
Yeah, it just goes straight down.
Wow.
It was so funny because I was just joking with Cassie. I'm like, I must go to China. He's like, yeah, China, or and he like continued to go. I was like, wait.
Wait a second. I don't think that's possible.
Also, like where we were at in the waterfall, we had to like jump down this like area that probably we weren't allowed to go down.
Yeah.
We were, like,
Well,
it was
the
just
stairs were
fun.
broken.
Yeah,
The
the
stairs-
stairs were
yeah.
broken,
They look
so
like
we're
they were
like
broken
holding
for a
onto
while.
trees, like
Yeah.
going down this place.
Yeah, and we're like our hands are full. Like we have
Yeah.
backpacks
Gear,
on
yeah.
through the whole day. So like some of
Bags.
these things we're ending up in
It
are
was the perfect spot,
Little
though.
challenge.
I
the
know.
perfect spot. Like
Yeah.
some of my favorite photos and shots of the day were taken there.
I know those were
Um,
crazy. I saw those when you on the way back in the
Mm-hmm.
car. You were pulling them all up, and I was like, "Are you sure that's not from Google?" Like, I was like, "That looks like
Yeah.
the most
So
professional
cool.
thing I've ever seen."
And it was
Yeah.
just cool because it was like no one around, like just them on the rock.
Mhm.
It was perfect.
And then after that, we went to the final shoot location, was it? No.
We hiked up, took a couple more
They
shots.
also did like a bridge shot, so we put the drone up.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
That
drone
looks
up,
cool.
bridge shot, just a few like sequential things, just showcasing like progression. And
But then we went to the last.
pulled up to the final location, which
That was
was
occupied.
another
Yeah.
hiccup. Yeah, so we
Couple hiccups there.
well, and I love again, I love the models for this because like we don't know these locations, right? So we take a right, we're going down this like dirt road, then we take a left, and then we take a right into like there's an address sign like out, and I was like, is this someone's driveway? And we drive all the way down this thing, and it must be like owned. I don't know if it's someone they know, or I don't know how they have access to this thing, but like we pull up and it's kind of just this like untouched little campsite.
Campground, yeah.
I don't know if someone owns it, maybe it's state owned, but like if it was just us, we would have never turned down there. We'd have been like,
Yeah.
this is a house, we're not going to shoot here. So it's kind of interesting. So we pull down there and pull up, and there's 2 sled dogs and 2 dudes
In a camper van.
in a camper van, and we're like,
Dang.
Which is where that was the exact place we were gonna shoot. Was like
Yeah,
that
we're gonna shoot
spot.
the-
It
we were
was
just gonna
like
shoot
at
the
that point in the
campsite.
day where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to the final location.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
we're
the
almost
last
getting
thing.
There,
Yeah.
like,
and this is like the climax of the video too. Like everything
Yeah.
is led up to this point.
Yeah.
And like for it to kind of be like stripped from under us a little bit was kind
Yeah.
of like dang. And they were super cool. They were kind of like, we're not leaving, but you guys can use the picnic table. We can clear it out. Like I don't think they were. I don't know. It would have been fine if we shot it either way.
Yeah. Right.
But this is
But-
like my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
Because then we walk out, and there's like this rock beach, and there's this like island off in the distance. And Cassidy and Britt are like, yeah, you know, sometimes people will like build a bridge with rocks out to the island.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool, but like, are we really gonna build a bridge right now? I don't know. Let's go figure something else out.
so we're going and like trying to move the picnic table
Yeah,
to this
there was a
other
nice-
grassy
yeah, for
area.
Which was nice because it had light coming in. I was like, all right, this could be it. But
Yeah, it was like cute. But
Yeah.
so it's like
We
us
scoped a few
3,
locations, yeah.
And like us 3 were trying to pick up the picnic
This
table. We're
picnic
like,
table is huge
oh,
and
we
heavy.
need more people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, can we
I
bring
got
this picnic
distracted.
You, Britt, and
table?
Cassidy were like nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I didn't send you guys for 10 minutes because we're trying to figure out this
Yeah.
location, and we're trying to get the shoot moving.
And then like
And-
Chase popped out.
Yeah, you wanted to put the picnic table on the beach, and I was like, I don't know. I was
I
like,
feel a little off place.
yeah, and I was just trying to like, all right, well, I think the best bet would be the one in that little grass area. And then Cassie, Britt, and Blake were just out there.
Chucking
They're
Chucking
trying to
rocks.
build this bridge. Now, me and Kaylin were like, what's going on right now?
I look out and it's like Blake's in like he's shed like a bunch of layers. Cassidy shed a bunch of layers.
They're like so well, like
they're going in.
They're just like chucking
so
these rocks
determined.
and, like putting logs.
Well, and like the specific moment is like, okay, we're gonna move this picnic table back to the grass area. It's me, Caitlin, and Devin. We each grab like a stool portion of it and we lift it up, and like it's clearly obvious that one side's gonna be heavy, and we need one more person. So I'm like, I don't know if I was like mad, but I was probably just like, where the heck is Blake? And I was
Yeah.
like, Blake, where are you? And then like
they're just like having
I don't even
so
think
much
you said
fun, like,
anything. And then I float out to the beach, and you guys are building this bridge, and I'm like, I just naturally just gravitate over there, and all of a sudden I'm throwing rocks and stuff.
Because
And
what happened for me, because the reason that I wasn't really paying attention, like, because we kind of, I think we all kind of peeked over at the lake, and like, and then I was just like kind of distracted, so I went off, and you guys went back to the picnic table, and I passed Britt, and I was like, basically there's an island, and it's probably like, I don't know, like 15, 20 feet of, there's shore, and then there's like 15, 20 feet of water, but
like
it's like
Not
mid shin
deep,
to
yeah.
knee deep water.
yeah, and then like there's the island, and you guys went back and figured we're gonna go figure it out. And Britt was gonna go find you guys, and I was like, well, could we build something or something? And Britt's just like, people have done it, but then she was like not really there, and then I was like, me and Cassie were like, let's just toss some rocks. So I'm like picking up like these big boulders. I'm like, okay, well maybe if we get enough.
Well, and didn't you say that Britt was kind of like, you could tell she wanted to do it, but she thought it was already shot down?
Yeah. She was kind of like, people have done it, but she like walked back. Like she wanted to, but it was like, this is unrealistic. I feel like she was disappointed because it was a really cool island. So then me and Cassidy start chucking rocks, and then Britt starts smiling. She's like, yeah, let's do it. So we're all like, just like, I'm getting sweaty. I like take off my layers. I'm like, yeah, I'm like chucking it, like water splashing. And then you came down and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. And I'm like, we're running out of daylight a little bit, but
Yeah.
like, let's just see where this takes us. And I think
Yeah.
I've told everyone this. I feel like that was the moment where I had to like like my own, like a fault in director moment where I needed to like get everyone together and make a decision. And there really was no decision made. And like, I feel like I should have been like, all right, guys, we're going to the island, all hands on deck, or we're doing the picnic table, all hands on deck. But I feel like it was just like heat of the moment. I guess we had a little bit of extra time throughout the day. So I like was
I think
just
me
like,
and Devin were like,
Yeah, we're wasting. We're kind of wasting a little time. I was
you guys were
like-
definitely looking for like figuring out what the move was.
Well, the big thing was, it was like, this was when we were going to set up the grill. Like, this was the primary product that we were even trying to shoot. We were going to set up the grill, cook steaks, cook potatoes, like get everything set up. And we're running out of daylight. So we pull up to the camp. First thing is there's the van and these guys and these dogs. And Cassidy's like, I don't really have a plan B. Like, I don't know. This is probably the best spot. And then, so you guys are like starting to analyze, like, okay, what should we do? And then like I disappear. So Chase is like, where's Blake? Like, what's going on? And we're all just a little bit discombobulated.
yeah.
We were running a little bit behind too. Like we were supposed to get done around 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Ended up getting done around
5:30.
Yeah. So.
But
leaving at like 6. Yeah.
tell me the moment. So we built this bridge for probably like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're working.
15
We're not
minutes.
that far.
We're not that far. We're not making any progress.
Yeah.
No.
And Devin sees red. Tell me what happened.
Sees what?
You're seeing red. I saw
What is
red in your
red?
eyes. Your eyes turned red, and you looked at me and you said, "Move."
Well, I was just like, bro, dude, I'm not trying to play no games out here.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Let's not waste any more time.
I was like,
here.
I need to know for sure if we're building this bridge and wasting our time or if it's actually worth it. And I was like, dude, like, I don't know. I'm used to being in nature like that. I can go and be barefoot if I want to and do. I like nature, so I would just like go and do it. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk through the water and just get it. Because like
And
honestly,
this is
you
A
weren't
brisk
Lake
40 degrees.
Superior.
Yeah.
you weren't too
freezing
far though. Like we were literally
weren't
so
far.
close. I was like, well, I'm just gonna go there anyway.
What do you think? Like 7 steps? Big steps?
Yeah,
10
a few
steps?
steps, and
You're
then
treading.
you're already
Shin
onto
deep.
the island. So I was like, all right. So I went over there, just scoped it out. I was like, all right, this is definitely like probably the better location, like Plan B. I was like, it's worth it to come over here.
Right when
And
we
that
like
changed-
peeked
Devin
through
rounds the
bushes,
corner.
Yeah, he's like, it's worth it.
Yeah,
I was
That
like, we're
changed the
doing
game.
it. But then Devin makes the decision that I should have theoretically made, and then
And then
We're
it was
off.
like, okay, we have to finish this bridge, and then it's like, okay, we have to bring all our gear over.
yeah. Well, we got that the logs over there that helped a lot.
Yeah.
That's what finished the bridge. Because
And
we
the
were,
walking stick.
yeah, because I was like, okay, it's like this deep, and like we're chucking these rocks. They're super heavy. Like we still have like another 10 feet. So I was like, okay, what can we use? And I like look around. I like see in the distance this like 15-foot like perfect log, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get that. And I like run over there. I was like, I could get this by myself. I try and lift it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I can't. So like Cassie runs over.
Yeah.
our
We're
models are
carrying this
just
thing.
logging logs
Yeah,
around.
they are working.
Yeah, and we like set that up. It's a skinny little log which attaches to this smaller log, and Devin's already soaking wet.
Well, just imagine though, what if that log wasn't there? What would we have done?
I know.
That
I
would've-
don't know.
We wouldn't have been able
No, we wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
make it through. Honestly, unless everyone walked through the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
which
then
I
our
don't think we
models would
would.
just be soaking wet, and it'd be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't make
What
sense.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was
So that
another
was good.
hiccup because the jacket thing.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay
we can,
though.
we can, yeah, we
Yeah.
figured it out.
So we finally get it done. The bridge is made. We're walking with sticks so that we don't fall into the
Well,
water.
I want to backtrack a little bit because you're like, we can get across if we have like walking sticks.
Yeah.
And Blake disappears for 24 seconds. I swear to God, it was like, and he comes out and he's like, I got 2 sticks.
Like the
And, like,
perfect, like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
They look like twin brother sticks.
I know.
Those were perfect.
know.
Those are
Those
good.
just happen to be there. I like look around. I'm like, oh, and they're like perfectly straight. There's no like sticks coming off of them. And I was like, yes.
We need
And I was
those.
excited because I wanted to get on the island.
That's
Devin
crazy.
wasn't sure because no one was sure, but I was like, I love this. Like, let's get over there. Once Devin came back, he like disappeared for a second, and he comes back and he's just like, everyone's like, yeah, like,
Yeah, it was like a sigh of relief because
Yeah.
we're like, we have a location because like
Yeah.
we were stuck without a location for like the main shots.
yeah. So we get those sticks.
Then, so you guys get the sticks and you guys continue to kind of build this bridge out, make sure it's safe, figure it all out. And
We're
then
getting the gear
us
ready,
3
yeah.
go back, me, Caitlin, and Devin go back and get all the gear. And we're packing up all the gear and it's like, we're packing up a lot of
Yeah,
gear.
everything that we need.
All of a
you
sudden, it's
know.
like 2, 3 backpacks.
Yeah.
You know, you're holding this. We brought audio equipment onto this island. We brought a boom mic out
Like-
there.
Yeah.
lights onto this island, like everything.
We packed everything pretty much inside the backpacks as we can, just so like we can carry it without it touching the water or
right,
being
like
careful.
thousands of dollars are
Well, yeah,
So you just have to be careful with
a lot.
And the problem was the first like 10 feet were rocks, and then the second was like a log.
literal
and
tightrope log.
Yeah.
And then you
And the
go up
water.
this like elevated log that's like
That like kind of rolls from side to side a little bit if you step on it
it's
wrong.
like kind of a hard path.
And the first rocks that you have to step on, the first 10 feet, it was like every 30, it was like 30 seconds. Rocks were visible, you could step on it, and then after that 30 seconds, the water would
water,
rise
yeah.
randomly,
The tide
where your
would, like,
foot would be
shift.
soaked.
Yeah,
so you had to
such a
like be
big
like,
body.
okay, go.
It was such a big body of water that like it's almost like a bathtub. Like picture a giant bathtub like shaking from side to
Yeah.
side. Like the water goes from like side to side on this
Yeah.
thing. It was
I think
crazy.
everyone's feet got really wet.
My feet got a little.
especially Devin's.
Devin, that's
Devin
what I
was
wanted to talk
soaked.
about. Is like we get there, we have all this gear. It's like backpacks and backpacks and backpacks, and Devin's like, "Give me all the backpacks." I'm like, "Dude, how are you gonna tightrope this log with all the?" He's like got a front backpack, a backpack, a drone around his neck, like everything.
Drone
And he's
around my
like,
neck.
"I'm going in, dude." He's like, "I'm going in." I'm like, "Shit."
Well,
shout out Dev.
My
and I-
thought was
already
like,
did.
y'all are already dry, so why get any more wet? When I can
Yeah.
I'm already wet, so let me just take all the gear over and just like be safe with it, because like
Just
imagine
get
if
it
you're
over.
on the log with the gear and you accidentally fall
No,
over.
yeah.
and all the gear gets wet. We're like, "Oh, that's the end of the spec shoot, guys."
Yeah.
We'll just end
The
it.
last
We'll just
shot
end it at
is
the
just
tee
like,
shots.
It's like an iPhone shot. It's like-
Yeah, no. So Devin sacrifices, gets all the gear over there. We all tightrope across, and freaking ready to rock.
it was like the coolest.
And we didn't
Yeah.
even mention we have
Yeah.
all the food.
Oh my god!
We have
Yeah.
like
all the steak,
steak.
mashed potatoes,
Yeah,
asparagus,
everything, the
the
whole 9
Jetboil
yards for
burner,
sure. All
like,
the gear, all the
everything we
props,
brought. Yeah.
everything.
And then we're out there, and we're finally out there, and I feel like even for me, like I don't know what you guys were feeling, but I feel like when we got out there, it was kind of like, okay, what's next? Like we're
Yeah.
here. And I was like, I can't wait for this to be over. I just want to get these shots and get this thing over with, because it's like we're running on long hours. Everyone's hungry. It's cold.
It's like
Devin has no
rainy,
boots
we're
on
wet,
anymore.
Yeah, it's raining and wet. We don't really know, like, do we want to shoot on this part? Do we want to shoot on this part of the island? We're like trying to figure that out. So there's still more decisions to be made. But we ended up figuring out that we wanted to shoot. It fit our storyboard. We referenced back to the Bible, the storyboard, and zoomed in on the final shot, and it was like, wow, what I'm looking at right now is like exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, that was,
It was way
there's-
better than I
yeah.
imagined.
The tip one, like we were looking at like that one because it was a little bit more cool with the rock, and then we went up a little bit more on the island and saw like a nice platformed area that was like, this looks like a really cool establishing shot where we could get everything that we needed.
And then we turn on the cameras, and the Teradek battery is dead. So the camera will not link to the iPad anymore. And I love this. Blake just stands up and says, "You want me to go get it? I can go get it. I can go get it right now." And I was like, "All right, sounds good." Like running back across, tight roping across
He's like,
this thing.
give me 5 minutes.
No, what did you say? It was like 5 minutes and
Yeah. I was like, basically, because we had spare batteries in the car. So I was like, which was like, quite a
Across
little
the
hike back.
tightrope.
So I was like, okay, we kind of need this. So in my mind, I was like, I can just sprint back there quick and they can finish getting everything set up. So I was like, okay, guys, I'll go. I was like, do you want me to get it? Devin's like, really, dude? And I'm like, do you guys want me to go get it? Like, you guys are like, and I was like, I'll go get it. I'll go
I
get
felt
it.
guilty to make you do it.
No, I was like, I'll go get it. I was like, you guys give me like 5.5 minutes and I just book it. And then I like ran over there and I like, it was kind of funny just because quickly I said in my mind, I was like, I'm going to say like 5 minutes, but I'm going to try and make it like so fast. And like, I feel like not to go off, but like my dad used to always be like, who wants to go grab this from the garage? Or like, who wants to go do that? And everyone would be like, no. And then he's like, I'll time you. And everyone's like, okay. So then I like book
Everyone's
it.
parent ever.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So 5.5 minutes. So I just like sprint back. I'm like running across the log with like the 2 sticks. I like sprint to the car, which was like down the road from where I parked. It was in Devin's car, sprint back. And everyone's like, whoa. And I was like,
It was
yeah.
funny
Well,
from like our point of view
yeah.
though. Like Chase was like, "Do you want to just like get the shot without the iPad, like whatever?" And then we're like, "Let's just wait.
Or
for
the
Blake."
light too. iPad
Oh,
or
yeah,
light.
Yeah, we didn't have. We needed
Yeah.
Oh, the
batteries.
Yeah, and
light,
just
yeah.
like, should we just shoot? I'm like, no, let's just wait.
Let's just wait for Blake. And then like right when Devin said that,
yeah,
like
he
appeared
showed
from
up.
the
I was like,
trees.
that's perfect timing. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was crazy. And one thing we didn't reference is, even though the people were at that campsite, we actually, the one thing we did forget was oil or butter for
Oh
the
my
pan.
gosh. For
And the
steak.
people we came across that took our final shoot location had butter for us.
They gave us a
Yeah.
whole stick of butter and we used the
This is actually
whole
crazy
thing.
thinking about how much things aligned
Yeah.
for us to get
Everything
everything that we needed. That was
I know.
crazy.
That is
actually.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been their only butter too.
Like I was like, when I first saw them, I was like mad, or not mad. I was just like, dang,
Our
like
spot is
deflated. Our
taken,
spot is
yeah.
taken. And then they like provide a resource to make
Yeah.
sure.
And they had the cutest dogs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
At first, I was like, that one of those dogs like barking. I was like, that thing was like a wolf. It was like
Well,
a husky wolf looking thing.
Yeah, mind you, I guess Grand Marais is like the sled dogging
We
capital
forgot
of
to
the
talk
world.
about the
Oh,
dogs.
We can jump back to like the dogs in the morning, but like there's sled dogs everywhere, and these dogs are like high freaking energy,
Yeah.
and you could see it on these dogs. They were just like, even when we were building the bridge, they're like, we're throwing rocks out in the water, and like
Blake
this
is,
dog is
chucking boulders. I'm like, you are gonna hit.
Oh, yeah, I
this
was like,
dog."
yo, I
inches
don't
away from this
know.
dog's leg. I was like, dude, if you break that dog's leg, you have to deal with someone. I'm not on your side. you're fighting for yourself there.
It was fine.
But yeah,
Anyways,
we can
Blake
kind of.
comes back.
Blake comes back with the batteries. We start getting all the shots.
Start cooking.
Yeah,
It
and I
smells
feel
so
like at
good.
this point, Devin, how are you feeling at this point?
What?
I feel like your socks were wet. We were on hour like 12. You were like, you
No,
were
I
on
really-
the borderline of being like, I'm done.
Oh, I was.
I need to
done.
get
I was-
outta here.
I've been done, but at that moment, I just really liked the shot. I think I whenever like when we framed the shot for like the cooking ones, I was like, and the sound, I was like,
And the
this is
smell,
definitely
yeah.
worth it. Like I don't know, like for me, I was already done, but I was like, what's an extra hour or so
Yeah.
to get the stuff that we need, and it looks great. So I was like, yeah, I kind of just trekked
That's how
through
I
it,
felt
you
too, I
know.
feel
I was
like.
trekking through it.
Once we started shooting and like the cooking and like just seeing it, I was like, oh my god, this is so worth it. Like, this
Yeah.
See, I
is-
was still like walking because that shot was basically like needed no direction. Like we had a tripod looking down. I just remember like walking back and just being like, I cannot wait for this to be done. Like 30 more minutes. I want all these shots to be done. I want to put it on my computer, and then I just want like,
Yeah.
I want like this to be done. I don't know. I
And
get
we-
excited when I can see the end of the tunnel. I get like excited, and I try my best to not rush things because it's easy
That's fair.
to kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone was on that same energy level, but I think when you're done with a 12-hour shoot day and we're happy with everything that you got, it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
You know, like
And then we like finished shooting like on the island, and I was like, oh my god, his jacket's been off the whole time.
Yes.
I was like, the continuity is ruined.
gosh.
Yo,
That was such a
I remember
deflationary time.
Me, Kaylin, and Dev were like, wait, what?
Why
And
is-
then like we all kind of just like looked at each other, and Devin's like, it'll be fine. And we like looked down, and then we all like looked back on each other.
I was like, we just need like one shot. That was like a bummer because we were like
Yeah.
so close to being done. That's like,
Yeah.
no,
And then we ended up just getting a shot of him.
throwing it in a
also
bag.
too,
Putting it in a
you
bag.
threw the drone up, and I think that actually helped too. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it was good to see like where they were.
Yeah. Because we didn't have a lot of establishing shots because we like got on the island, we started shooting cooking and the product. But I think we needed like one shot showcasing like this island. Like it's such a unique landscape
That shot
Yeah.
was
that we had to get that shot. So we did get the drone up, got that shot.
Which was
And then that's when
crazy.
these three realized that he didn't
Yeah.
have the jacket on.
Yeah.
So, and then yeah.
That shot to that drone shot, that could be in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Super
such a
cool.
crazy island. Meanwhile, sorry, I don't know if you said this. I got distracted for like 1 second. Devin's feet got soaked because he walked through the water, and then he's walking around on
In his
this
socks.
rocky, cold, stick like moss, like nature island with just his socks on. And I'm just like looking, I just can't stop looking at his feet, and they're soaking wet in Lake Superior water, which is like freezing cold. And
Yeah.
Devin's just like, I'm good. Like, and I'm
Shoes are
like,
off.
dude, that I can't even. And then worst part is he put the boots back on, and I'm like, oh, I can't stand that. I'm like a texture
But
guy.
I love the sellout moment of just like, we have an hour left and I
Yeah.
don't even care. I got a fresh set of, after the shoot, I'm going to change my socks.
I mean, it was BA. I'm just like, I was like, you're stronger than me. You're stronger than me, dude. I was like, I can't.
I built a good mental fortitude
Yeah.
throughout the years, especially with wrestling and just doing a lot of hard things.
True.
But
I was.
yeah, I'm one of those people that's like, all right, I'm gonna suck it up and
Yeah.
do what we need to do.
It was
Yeah.
cool. I mean, we needed it, and you just treaded through and got it done. So.
And we just had like just this creative freedom throughout the day. It was just so like, I said it multiple times throughout the day. I'm like, it's so nice, and not, like I love all of our clients, but it's just so nice to not have like an agency or a client over your shoulder throwing out ideas, or you know,
It just takes so much pressure off too.
it takes pressure off, but it's also like sometimes like I think a lot of times like the shot list and everything gets changed so much because of the agency or the client. Like we re-dream up ideas and concepts when we get there sometimes, and like for us, like we just stuck to what we made, and it like I don't know, we just had so much freedom throughout the day, creatively.
Even though like it was like crunch time, but it was like we were creating at the same time. So it was like we had a lot of creative freedom in the sense of like we were out there, we had the cameras, we had the nature, like we had the environment, but it was like on the spot. Like, okay, how can we do this? How can we get this shot? Like Dev is like, how can I set this up? Like Chase is like, I'm not supposed to touch a camera. I'm working on directing. Like do this, you know. And Caitlin's like, Caitlin's got the audio, you know, dealing with that. And I'm just like, like vlogging. So there was a lot of creative freedom, but it was like on the spot, on the go. Like we didn't have a lot of rest time. It's not like we sat for like hours at a time. Like what
We
can
never
do?
sat like
Just for lunch,
I didn't even
and then we
sit when I
The
ate
turkey
lunch.
sandwiches.
and it was so funny, like
little spicy sandwich.
yeah,
spice or what was it?
little
called?
grit in there, right?
Oh yeah, my sandwich fell on the ground, so I got all sandy, and I
Blake was making the sandwich, and a piece of bread flips off
like,
the
"That's
table,
mine."
and Lance goes like, "That's mine, that's mine, that's mine."
yeah, and it was like a textury, kind of almost like if you put a couple of chips in there.
A little different.
Nah, it'll digest.
I don't know though, but like, I think I was talking to Caitlin about this, but like, how do we make our shoots like that with our clients that seamless and that much
I think
fun
it was
and
me.
easy?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're just gonna bring you on, yeah,
kidding.
for sure.
It probably did help having an extra set of hands, but yeah, it
It
was.
does help.
That's
yeah,
a good question.
that's a good reflecting, and it's so funny because if we didn't do this spec shoot, we wouldn't even be thinking like that. Like I feel like spec shoots just make us so much better as just a company. But I think
The models
when-
helped too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But like to answer your question a
Yeah.
little bit, like the models helped. Like there was a lot that like shouldn't have happened that we needed to happen. So part of it was just like
luck,
Yeah,
whatever.
it could be
I don't
luck.
even know. I think it's the
Yeah.
bloom energy.
the good vibes. But also, I will say, like, I think I've always done videos like since my inception of like trying to make it easy on the client. Like I think if you can make it as easy as possible on the client, that a lot of times they will be like happy, because like people don't understand like videos take a lot of work, and I think we try to do our best job with clients, you know, this year and years prior of like, okay, we're going to do as much as possible, and we only want to jump on like 1 or 2 calls with the client and like just try to not like take up too much of their time. I think how we can make them go as seamless as that went is just being honest with the client on the front end. Like, okay, if you want to do a video that's this grandiose and this big and do a 12-hour shoot day and like have all these people on set, like you're going to have to allocate some resources to it. It could be your assistant, it could be your marketing department. Like we need to jump on at least 3 or 4 calls and creatively build a shot list and do all this stuff. Cause I think sometimes we'll do shoots that big, but I feel like I'm hindering the client by being like, hey, let's jump on one more call. Like sometimes these people have already been on like 2 or 3 calls, you know? And like the last thing I want to do is jump on another freaking call. And sometimes they're out of town and it's hard to book with them. And then it's also like, you tell a client we want to jump on another call, and they're like, oh, we're out of town until like shoot day, so we can't jump on a call. Then you're like, oh, it's fine, we don't need it. And they're like, wait, do we need it or do we not? So I think to answer your question, Dev, we just have to be more honest with the clients on the front end, especially on the bigger shoots. Like this is going to take resources from you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's not only going to cost you
Yeah.
money, but we're going to need a lot of your time, and we might even need you to come into the studio here, and we might need to like build a storyboard together. Because we sat there for 2 hours, us 3, building the storyboard.
Yeah, I think we just need to be more prepared as a team as
Yeah.
well, alongside the resources. Like
Yeah.
the storyboard, the shot list, all the gear and the prep stuff was really good. Just knowing what we needed for the shoot, even though like some stuff we might have not used, but like also too, I think what really would have helped. Thankful to our models for knowing the exact spots, but I feel like we should have been there the day before to scout. Then
Yeah.
we would know exactly, but
Yeah.
everything just worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
But I think even that little extra half day to scout would have been like helpful. But yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that
Right.
where you if you don't know the area or you haven't seen it physically, it's good to like just know exactly where you're gonna shoot. But
Yeah.
like we said, it just turned out the way it did. So
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, the moral of the story is you just learn so much on spec shoots. I feel like I learned a lot. And I've been doing this for a long time.
I think something that helped too is through the day, everyone, including the models, seemed to be on the same page. You know, it was like we were all kind of like not sure what to expect, but it was like Caitlin would help Devin over here just like that. Like Chase would be like over here talking to the models just like that. Like I would be over here carrying something like that. Like it was, we didn't even really have to communicate that much. It was just kind of like
Everyone
a given.
knew like really defined roles.
Yeah.
And like we just stuck to that.
Yeah.
Big move is the defined rules.
Yeah.
Like,
Because otherwise I feel like it can get like chaotic if like people are doing like other people's things and then it's like, what are we even doing?
Yeah.
it's too many cooks in the kitchen
Yeah,
sometimes when
exactly.
you're like imagine.
Devin loves that phrase. I love it too.
Well, yeah, I mean, too many people getting involved. That's why I think that's the same thing with like the client. There's too many cooks
Yeah.
Yeah.
when there should be just one director
Yeah.
Right.
directing the whole thing and like trying to make this vision come together. But when there's too many people involved trying to like spit out ideas and it's wasting more time and
Yeah.
then it just becomes super long and
And it helped so much too, like the shot list, like crossing it off. Like we got the shot, it's done.
yeah,
Like
move on.
immediately move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah.
We
That
did
really,
a good job of that. Just
Yeah,
moving
we weren't
on.
like sitting there like, oh, should we do it? Like, no, we got it. It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and the Airbnb was just so perfect. I don't know. It was just crazy how well it worked out. And
It was insane. I mean, literally, like, and then, just to carry it forth, like, even this, not that we need to talk about this weekend, but like this weekend worked out in like 2 seconds too. It was like everything just really got set up. And that was like, I don't know. I wanted to say too, like, I don't want to like be that guy, but like, I just feel like Bloom itself, I'm not like technically a part of Bloom or anything, but it's just been really cool for me to watch like Chase go from, because I saw Bloom before there was a studio, before
when
there
I was still working
employees, like,
part time.
you were doing, yeah, exactly. And you were just doing everything. And I just feel like there really is like a flow and like some people can just build businesses and some people just can't. Like sometimes it just works and sometimes it doesn't. Like I just don't think there's really been a time, and you've worked like super, super hard, which is part of it. But like, there's just something about the like energy, if you will, where like things have just moved forward the last like 2 years in like a great way. And it shows in the like results of your guys' products. It shows in the work done. It shows in the relationships built. Like even for example, like we went to the bar after the whole shoot. We ran into Emma and Tim, who you've shot with and who you shot Electric Trails, like that they're connected with.
Electric Shores, like.
Yeah. And like, it was like right away, they all were like, Chase, like everyone was excited. They invited us all up. Like, it was like, you've been connected with them pretty much through like business in a way, but they were like completely down to just hang out with you. And
It's
like,
so much, like it was hugs, dude. It was like see them, it was like hugs, and then Tim cracked my back and everything.
yeah. So it just like goes to show, it's like literally like what you've built here and what you guys have all built together, like goes past business. Like it goes past work. It's like there's really like passion, there's friendships, there's relationships, there's value. Like I could keep going on and on.
Yeah.
But everything has just worked out so well. And I think because of that, because of the work you put in, because of just that aura, like the spec shoot, it just came together because of just, I hate to say it, but like the energy or whatever you want to say, like it's good. It's cool. And even in the challenges, like it wasn't like nobody was like, what the frick is going on? Like, what are we gonna do? Like everyone was like, okay, what's the solution? How can we work together? How can we all do this and keep moving forward?
And I think like just to like add to that, like it's so cool because I feel like we're not like a team that like all went to film school or have been doing this for like we're a pretty like young group. Yes, we know how to work cameras and stuff like that, and we're very professional and we know what we're doing. But like it's kind of just crazy that like we all just balance each other so well here, and like we don't have any like crazy accolades. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't recruit Devin from freaking Paramount Pictures, or anything like
Right?
that, you
I
know,
know.
it's just
Nah,
like,
I was bartending when you recruited me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
So I was not even doing anything.
Yeah. Blake and I prayed over the decision making of the first editor
I know.
on my balcony, dude.
Because it was like you versus someone else, or it was like someone else is already
Yeah.
kind of there. It was like
First
but-
podcast.
Which
Yeah,
might
we
have
talked
worked
about
out,
that. We
yeah,
talked about that
but-
first podcast. But yeah, that's crazy. So, dude, but I think we're probably getting
Yeah.
pretty into it. Moral of the
Yeah.
story: if you're not doing a spec shoot, if you run a production company, if you're into video, if you're doing something, I think you should always be working on a spec shoot. We're gonna finish this one up, and I'm sure like around Christmas time we'll be dreaming up the next one.
Yeah.
And whether it takes 6 weeks to get the whole thing done, 6 days, or even 6 months, like just always be working in the right direction on something. Always have something in the background, because I don't know, it feels good. It feels
Feels powerful.
fulfilling. And it's just like you put it on your portfolio, you fill a hole in your portfolio, and you build your portfolio, and you can market with the video. And
Yeah. And what did we get from it? We got the product shoot. Just like go
we
down
got
the list.
The deliverables to ourselves are the full Jetboil product video, the photos. We have a full vlog coming, and then this podcast. And I'm sure, like, if you're listening to this podcast right now, and if you made it this far, holy crap, thank you. You've probably seen all of that stuff already.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you wouldn't start at the podcast. But if you have started the podcast, go check out all the other stuff.
Yeah. And all that work that we all did, just for people to know the behind the scenes with like video production, all of that work,
12-hour shoot day.
12-hour shoot day, 5 hours, 10 hours of
hours.
driving, like just
10 hours of pre-production, 12 hours of pre-production.
all this stuff was for like a 45-second to like minute and a half video.
Not over a minute.
Yeah. There we
Yeah.
go.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try to fit under a minute, but yeah, I'm gonna try to make it as
That's what it takes.
fast paced as
Yeah.
possible.
But yeah, anything else, guys?
Favorite part of the shoot?
Yeah, let's finish with that. Favorite moment.
Go that way.
I gotta think about mine.
I mean, I feel like I just gotta say, like, my favorite part was I feel like the whole thing was my favorite part, but I did enjoy building the bridge to the
Who
island.
gets up?
It was just kind of raw. It was like out on the beach. It was super cool. But I also just liked vlogging it all. I had a really good time just like being behind the scenes, like asking people questions, like capturing those moments. Like I thought that was super fun. And I've never done that for you guys. I've helped out on different shoots. I've never worked with you before, which I think it was super smooth and everything. So, but yeah, so that was probably my favorite part, building the bridge and just straight up vlogging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked hiking through the state park, and then probably like once we were on the island and I was like, okay, I wasn't like, oh my God, get me out of here. I was like, this is actually beautiful and I enjoy this and it's a good memory to have.
Yeah. Am I up?
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite part was I've always watched, like, Cole Bennett does these behind the scenes videos on YouTube of him like doing music videos, and he just shows it very raw, and there's always clips of him, and like he'll just be like, oh, this rapper didn't show up for today's shoot, here we are, like, and I loved the vlogging side of it. Like the shoot itself was super fun, but like when Blake would come up and jam a camera in my face and I could give like an update on what was going on, and then just like seeing the first like 2 minutes of the vlog that Caitlin already put together, I'm like, that just, it makes me so excited because I know, and I told Blake and Caitlin this on the way home, like that I will have that vlog forever. We will all have that vlog forever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 10 years, but I know in 10 years when I watch that back, like I'm 100% going to get emotional and be like, that was such a special day. So that was my favorite part, was the vlog.
Yeah. By the way, in the vlog, I don't want to come at you, but like there was one spot you cut me out. So just
All right,
we'll
I'll
talk
put
about it
that in.
later.
We'll talk about it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, when you flip the camera.
Wait, what part was it?
I saw it.
Was that the end or?
I said, and we got Blake behind the camera and then he flips it.
He never
We're
did.
at the restaurant.
It's okay, Caitlin. We'll talk about it later.
I'll go
All right,
through
Yeah,
we
yeah,
gotta
go
keep
back.
moving. Devin.
Honestly, when we showed up, that was like, everyone was like, all right, we're ready to go. I think that sense of feeling of like, we're ready to shoot this was like cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shoot was like, whatever. Like, I don't know, like it's cool, but like that moment when like everyone got together and we're like, we're really doing this is
Yeah.
like, kind of like a good feeling, good moment.
The camaraderie of I can test that, like the camaraderie of pulling up to a cabin and everyone's like unloading their bags, and then it's like just good bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So mine was just before the shoot, but it's kind of, I don't know if that's a special for
Yeah,
me. It
no,
was.
that's
No,
good.
it was.
Yeah,
I
okay.
feel that though. Like
Yeah.
you're showing up to this new location, we're building cameras, we're trying to figure out how to turn the heat on in this place.
Yeah, it's the
Blake's-
little things for me.
The outhouse,
honestly.
yeah, it's just cool. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, I think that's a wrap. Definitely give Blake a follow. Blake, where can the people follow you?
Blake Ballis on Instagram, BlakeBallis.
And then, yeah, all of our links should be in the description below, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Tune into Blake's vlogs.
yeah, Blake's vlogs, if they ever get posted.
I do
Yeah.
have a bunch of vlogs at some point, guys. I'll post them, but for now, I'm just
Comment down
gonna.
below if you
Yeah. If you want to see more of Blake,
Yeah.
tell him to start posting.
Yeah, push me, guys, push me.
But all right, guys, we'll catch you on the next video podcast. Peace.